So, Dinny Corcoran, you're very welcome to the Bulletproof Dad podcast. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Delighted to get you in. For anyone listening, just to give you a bit of context, myself and Dinny go back a long time. We were actually in school together and played a bit of football together. So I think that's the logical place to start. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So tell us, just give us a reminder what young Dinny was like. Obviously, you grew up in Donabate. You're a proud Donabate man, yeah?
Grew up in Donabate, yeah. Proud Donabate man. Jeez, that's going back a while now. I can't really remember much of the childhood other than football, really.
Yeah.
My whole childhood was football.
Where did you start out playing?
I started with Swords Rovers,
Okay.
probably 7, because my older brothers had played with them.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know, for whatever reason, my mum tried to keep us away from the local team, St. Edith's.
Okay.
I don't know why. But I started with Swords Rovers and then went to Malahide. And yeah, that's how it kind of started, yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I was all excited because I was going to introduce you as having the best footballer Donabate has ever produced. And then there was some big headlines there the other day, and wait to see. Turns out you're only the second best, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was tagged on Twitter about this, all right, yeah. Broke me heart.
So, just for context, it's just been announced that Alexis McAllister, the Argentinian midfielder and Brighton player, turns out he's actually from Donabate.
Yeah, look, I'll take second place. But, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah,
do you know the house it's been traced to?
Vaguely, yeah. I know the area. Yeah, it's crazy to think. I know a few McAllisters around the area as well, so they're
all getting phone calls. Yeah, can you get us tickets for a Brighton game?
Mad story, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, it's great to see him. And so as we're recording this, it's right in the thick of the World Cup at the moment. So there's some interesting results going on at the moment. So look, we get back to your good self. I just had to get that in there. Apologies. So this is how I would have known you, Dinny. Obviously you grew up in Donabate, but you went to secondary school in Malahide, so we would have been in the same year together. So we would have played a bit of football together between the school team. We also played GAA together, which is always a big part of your upbringing as well. So we'll have a little bit of a chat about that.
Yeah.
But you would have played with Malahide United as well. So you were the year below me. I was born 88, you were born 89. Yeah. So we would have played games together and against each other.
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, training. Yeah. So I remember we were all kind of a similar level at one stage, and then there was at one point when you were a child, you just decided to start scoring 50 and 60 goals in a season. And that was kind of the running joke every senior in school on a Monday, how many goals you scored a weekend, and it was usually double figures.
Jeez, yeah, that's probably when I actually realised I was half decent at football, around the Malahide days, probably 12, 13 it was.
That's when it kicked off for you, was it?
Yeah, that's kind of, I actually used to play midfield at the start, under 12s I think I joined them. And I was scoring a decent amount from midfield, so he moved me up front the following year, and I think I scored 40 something or something.
Yeah,
that's when I kind of started realising that I might be a bit better than the rest of them, kind of,
Yeah, well, that was at the time. Malahide United was just a Brentford club, really. So you've all the best players played DDSL at that time. So
exactly, I probably in hindsight I probably should have moved to the DDSL a bit earlier, but I stayed with Malahide a bit longer. And
what age did you go then?
I moved at 16s. I went to Belva, so under 16s and 17s I played at Belva, but I probably should have moved earlier, but I have great memories of Malahide.
You're happy, yeah.
I was happy, that's probably kind of the time I realised that I can maybe do something with football. Yeah,
60 goals in a season was a bit of a clue. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
And you're playing GAA with Pats at the same time, were you around that age?
Yeah, I was playing. Yeah, I joined St. Pat's around under 14s and played all the way up to minor, senior and stuff. But if there was ever a clash, it would always be soccer. I kind of just played GAA because my brothers were there, my pals were there. You know, my real love was always soccer, so GAA was never going to get in the way of it, really.
Yeah,
but, If I could juggle the two of them, I would. But obviously, soccer's
especially when you go DDSL. I'm sure there's pressure putting you as well to prioritise that.
When I joined the DDSL with Belvo, we had a great team now, loads of great players. But that's kind of the age the internationals come around, kind of, you know. So, and obviously you're thinking kind of League of Ireland. There was an under 21 league at the time, and Belvo only went up to under 17s. So after that, you're looking to go League of Ireland, and I had 2 great years at Belvo. We won everything, and again I was scoring a good amount of goals. So they were very, very fond memories. I love them times, and it seems like a lifetime ago now, but
I know, it makes us feel old when we talk about this sort of
there was.
And you broke into the Irish team as well at that age. What age was that? Under 18s or was it 16s?
16s, I think, was my first cap. Yeah, my uncle was actually the manager at the time, so I got plenty of stick over that. Now that's
nepotism was best.
But I did manage to score in that game, so prove them
Alright,
wrong.
that shut them up, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So that was what, like, in the space of a year or so, you went from Malahide United to playing for Ireland, did you? Or was it 2 years? Like, it's fairly quick there.
My memory's brutal now. I think it was my
Taking
first
you
year at
back a long
Belvo,
time,
yeah.
yeah.
But obviously Malahide had a big part to play in my development, up to that.
But it is a
stage.
big jump, like, in fairness. Like, that's
It
class.
is, yeah.
That's
It
really
is a
good.
big jump, but it's grand, yeah. Good memories.
So then, like, what? You finished at Belvo at 17, you have to go and find a new club then if they're not going 21s. What was the next step for you there?
Yeah, you have to. Luckily enough for me, I was I had spoke to St. Pat's before the season finished, and I kind of had it lined up. So I went to St. Pat's under 21s, which was it's kind of like a reserve league. There was no reserve league, so the 21s was kind of for first team players that were injured, they could play, or coming back from suspension or something like that. So it was a decent level, but yeah, it was definitely something new to me going from schoolboy to kind of League of Ireland as such,
Even logistically, that's a big move because you're like living in Donabate at the time and you're trying to get out to St. Pat's, like in Chicago.
We actually trained in Selbridge at the time. And,
right, yeah.
But luckily, a lad I know, he lived in, I think around kind of Bettystown or somewhere. We share lift with him up to Selbridge. So it worked out okay. And luckily our parents were happy to bring us, So, but yeah, logistically, it was
big commitment, like it is, yeah.
Yeah, like when you want to make it as a pro, you're going to do anything, aren't you?
And were you doing your leaving at that time? Was that around the same time we were all?
Yeah, I think it was.
We did our leaving in 2007, didn't we?
Yeah, I think I was at Belvo at the time. I think that was my last year at Belvo. That was just before I went to Pats, I think, yeah.
Okay, cool. And when you went to Pats then, did the gas stop? Because like anyone who knows Dinny from his football career, he also was a really good gas player. So, and the lads in Pats will be nodding in agreement now as to hear that.
The guy never really stopped now up until recently, like the last few years. But if I was available, I'd play the guy now because I don't know how I did it. I'd play on the Friday night and then I'd go out and play on the Saturday again. And like I said, if there was ever a clash, I'd play soccer. But I played a lot of guy throughout the years now.
You were able to keep both going,
yeah? I kept both going for as long as I could. Now, I don't know what age I was when the guy finished up. But I definitely played all the way through the Belvo. I can't remember even if I took a break maybe when I first broke into League.
Was that common? Like, were we one of the only lads at, say, Belvo doing that, or was there a few other lads doing the same?
I can't remember at Belvo so much, but when you go into, say, St. Pat's under 21s or something, there wouldn't have been many lads playing guard.
Did you have to keep it quiet? Or were you okay?
I remember trying to keep it quiet, but obviously people found out. And
Dublin's a small place.
Yeah, it wasn't too frowned upon at that time because I
Yeah.
wasn't getting money or anything,
Yeah.
It wasn't professional at that time. But then as the years went on, obviously, you kind of have to manage the body a bit better and be smart about it. Now, I wasn't. I played much longer than I should have,
when you're young and fit, you can do what you want.
Exactly, yeah.
But you mentioned the word money there, and that's a good lead for my next question. So your first club at senior was Sport and Fingal.
Yeah.
What was that like? There needs to be a documentary or something done on that now at this stage because it was nuts at the time.
It's a strange one when you think back. I was actually doing a FOS course. It was in conjunction with the FAI. It was like a football course. It was almost aimed to kind of prepare you for full-time football. You train every day. And do classes.
I think it still goes now, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it still goes. Yeah. And
a lot of good players have gone through that over the years.
I remember Liam Buckley just gave me a phone call, and he actually came up to the centre for a chat then, and I agreed to sign a 2.5 year contract. I think I was 18, maybe 19. And at the time I was absolutely buzzing. I just remember getting paid to play football. That was the dream,
But it was the dream. It was all our dreams. Like, it's
classic, absolutely. Like now in hindsight, again, 2.5 year contracts are unheard of. Well, nowadays they're getting more common, but back then, during my whole career, it was mostly 1 years.
But that was 2008, was it?
2008, I think. Yeah.
So
possibly 9.
The recession hadn't fully really hit. It was we were still at the end of the Celtic Tiger, just about.
Yeah.
Great time to come out of school with your leaving when we finished, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I signed a 2.5 year contract. And I just remember being over the moon now because I finished out the FOS course and went straight into full time training then with Sport and Fingal. Yeah, you're asking me about my time there. It was crazy. I mean,
well, what strikes me there is like you've 18-year-old Dinny Corcoran coming in there, and that team was stacked. Like, because obviously you had some good money behind it. Like I was looking there, like I see Glenn Crowe was playing in front, and there was like Eamon Zayed as well. Like they're two of the biggest names in the league probably at that time, and they're both playing in your position. So were you conscious of this coming in, like, you know? Or
I think I was a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. I was so young, and like you said, them big names, I knew them, and I'm going in kind of going, geez, I have to compete with these, you know.
Yeah.
But I was quite good back then even, and I learned so much from them as well at the time, and the likes of Conan Byrne and Shawnee Williams, you might know.
All
great
local
team,
lads,
and they actually managed to win the cup, the FAI Cup one year, which in its short existence. But like I think I can't even remember the day as much because I was a bit overwhelmed, you know. Even looking back at it now, I was very lucky and blessed to be playing with them. But
because dressing rooms are an interesting place. Like, you know, I was only talking, we had Paul Flynn on the podcast last week, and I was talking to him about it as well. It's like everyone's on the team and they're working together towards a common goal, which is great. But everyone in that dressing room is a human being. They have egos, they have insecurities, they're conscious, they want to win, but they also want to play. So there's a bit of a clash there sometimes. So like not just in Sport and Fingal, but like across your earlier years across some of the clubs, like, was it something you were kind of conscious of? Like, did people look after you because you were young, or did you kind of come across both depending on the type of person that was in the dressing room?
Yeah, the dressing rooms are a mad place. I was always kind of quiet and shy and just put my head down, got on with it.
Don't believe that for a second.
No, I was completely different than I was in school. No, I just kind of took everything in, like watched the older pros, how they carried themselves and stuff, and tried to kind of implicate them. And obviously, as I got older, I came out of my shell a bit and stuff. But no, I learned so much from them back then, and it stood to me throughout my whole career. And then obviously the last few years, I've been them. You know, the younger lads coming into the dressing room, and
oh my God, that's Dinny Corcoran,
Well, I wouldn't say that now, but
no, you become a senior player at some point. Yeah, exactly.
You see a little shy young lad, and you're thinking, geez, I remember that was me. So we're trying to help them in that way, to, you know, stuff like that, like to come out of their shell, and you know, but
no, that's cool. So, like, you were a couple of years of Sport and Fingal, and you were out on loan at Shells at one stage. Is that right?
Yeah, last year my contract went on loan. Shells,
And how did you find that? That was going into Division 1. Were you playing regularly then at Shells?
Yeah, I was playing regularly and enjoying it, and I had a decent enough season at Shells, but that was actually a strange one because I went from Sport and Fingal were full time and Shells were part time, so I probably wasn't training as much, and it was training in the evening, and I wasn't working because obviously Fingal were full time, so I'd the whole day to myself and then wait for training in the evenings. But again, it was a good learning curve. I scored good goals, good for the confidence that year, and good memories of Shells that year as well. Yeah.
No, it's cool. So, like, you come back from your loan spell at Shells. Like, is that the stage where Sport and Fingal is folded then as it finished up? Because was it 3 or 4 years?
I think it was 3 or 4. Yeah, I think they survived one more year when I went to Drogheda then after Shells. I think Fingal had one more year and that was it then. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
How did you find the move to Drogheda then? I imagine you still stayed put in Donabate, did you? You were still locally
Drogheda's not too far.
Yeah.
I remember I'd done the full pre-season with Shells the following, like the next season, and I was ringing the managers because I remember it was getting close to the season and I still hadn't signed. I'd been training with them, and so I remember just ringing them and thinking, how are you? This is Dinny. What's the crack with signing? And then all of a sudden he goes, oh, sorry, no, I haven't got enough money in the budget for you, you know. This is only a few weeks ago till the season.
And what age are you there?
About 20, 21, 22 maybe. Yeah. So I was really sure. I'm like, okay, yeah, no bother. See you now, boy. Hung up the phone, like, jeez, what do I do now? Yeah. Luckily, just Drogheda manager Bobby Brown, I think he had a spell in Malahide, did he? Yeah. He was the manager of Drogheda. I
think he's at Sword Celtic as well.
Possibly, yeah. He called me up and managed to get a deal done just before the league started, and I don't think he lasted long now. I think he was gone soon after, but yeah, I was just happy. But yeah, there's just an insight of what can happen.
What it's like, league. Yeah. Well, listen, this is kind of where I want to get to next. We can go through, if you've played with other clubs since, we'll go through a bit of that. But like, you obviously started I said that's why I used the word money to kind of lead into this. You started at the optimal, where your first contract, you said 2.5 year full-time professional contract. And then soon enough, the recession hits and the whole game, I suppose, changes for a lot of League of Ireland clubs. I said, like, it's when you think of League of Ireland, even in the good times the last few years, you hear of clubs struggling financially all the time. So, like, for the next few years, was it mostly the 9-month contract setup you were kind of working through?
Yeah, it was all 9-month contracts, really. Yeah, as soon as the last match is finished of the season, you're gone. You're no one to them anymore, you know. Unless, like I say, you have a good 2-year contract, like I had at Fingal, you're not worried about them things. Or even the Shamrock Rovers nowadays, the Dundalks, they're mostly on 52-week contracts.
But that's still quite like, it's still rare. It's only a couple of clubs that can do
it
it
is
even
rare.
today.
There's still plenty of lads only on whatever 36 or 40-week contracts, and like I said, if it only takes an injury or a bad season, they're not going to renew your contract. What
Big
do you do?
time.
Like it's tough in that sense. Yeah.
Like with that, like say, like with the 9-month contract, say like your next step after Drogheda was to go to Bows, which are obviously big club. It was your first spell at Bows. That's again 9-month contract. Is it part-time?
Part-time, yeah. Very little money, like you can hardly survive on it, you know.
What are you doing anything else? Are you working part-time
at this
with
time
that?
I wasn't. Like, I think that's probably what the worst thing about the Sporting Finger contract was. I thought, I've made it, this is football, my life now. You know, you're not worried about education, other jobs. You're thinking, this is great to get paid for football. But like I said, once the season finishes, I used to be in the Dole office the next day to sign on, because what else do you do? Like, you know.
So you could be playing in front of 5,000 people singing your name one week, and then the next week
the next day you're in the Dole. Trying to claim the Dole for a few months till the season starts up again.
Especially in the early, say like those early years, you're probably in your early 20s. Like, where's your head at with that? Like,
you're kind of just hoping to get a club to follow in maybe January, February. So in your head, you're saying, I remember I was just saying, I'll sign on the Dole for 2 or 3 months, get through Christmas, and then I'll find a club in January, February. Now, luckily enough for me, I kind of did most years, but if I didn't...
Did you have an agent to help you with that, or what was the process? Like, I'd say it's quite messy, like, you know, like everyone lives in the same boat trying to get clubs.
I didn't have an agent. I met a few agents, but I never actually signed up to one. I just did everything myself. But it's just a waiting game. You're just sitting by your phone hoping someone calls. And
what do you, like, are you training yourself, keeping yourself fit? Are you gone down to St. Eda's? Are you playing with Pats? What are you doing to kind of those couple of months over Christmas? Because most stuff is probably
training yourself, I suppose. And then I was bad in the off season. Now I wasn't as professional as I should have been.
You know, to enjoy yourself.
I like to enjoy the Christmas a bit more than I should have and stuff. But you just try and keep. Don't get. I never got ridiculously unfit now, but try and keep ticking over till pre-season. So hopefully in January.
So how do you decide where you're going to do pre-season training then? If you haven't got a club, if someone rang you in advance and said, "Do you want to come down?" Is it a trial, or how does that look like?
No, they usually ring you then, say January before pre-season starts if they want to sign you. There's not so much trials. It's kind of, look, we want to sign you, and blah blah blah. So you usually get things done before pre-season, which is good. But I'd say in many cases, people are told to just come up to pre-season and we'll have a look at you and then we'll see. So it's tough now. Like I said, I've been lucky to kind of land on my feet every time. Now I haven't been left too badly. Yeah,
well, you're in your luck as well. Like you're scoring goals and playing well. That helps. You know, it's not just luck.
Yeah, I kind of made a decent enough name for myself in my early 20s, so managers kind of knew me and knew what I was capable of. Yeah. So I was lucky.
What do you think your biggest strengths were? Like, what would have been referenced?
My biggest strength is scoring goals, and it's, I like to say, it's the hardest thing to do in football, but for me it was probably the easiest thing to do. I had to work on everything else, you know. But so every team needs a goal scorer, and luckily I could do that better than most. So I managed.
How did you find, like in those years between Shells, Drogheda, Bows, you had a brief spell at UCD, then you were back at Bows. Like, were you playing different systems with different managers? Was it 2 up front, 1 up front? Like, I imagine that job description is quite different.
Yeah, there's a lot of chopping and changing. Like you said, some managers like to go 2 up front, some 1. You just have to kind of adapt, and obviously you'd have worked on it in training, so you'd be kind of used to it, you know. But I was just happy to play wherever, you know, just play as much as I could. So it didn't really matter to me, tactics and formation and stuff, but just wanted to play. So
when you were told to press from the front, that was all good.
That wasn't one of my strengths either now, but over time you have to. So
So, like, one of your moves that really stayed out for me, I remember at the time thinking, fair play to him, was your move to Sligo, and that was 2015. Is that
2015, right? 2015,
yeah. So I remember, because it was Owen here, he was a manager at Bows, and he got the job at Sligo, and he took yourself, and was someone else went with you as well?
3 others maybe, I think.
Yeah, so that's obviously a massive validation for you as well. The manager goes to, at the time, Sligo probably were a bigger club or probably had a bigger budget. That's, I assume, why he went. Yeah. So he's taking his best players with him. You're one of the lads. So I imagine you're feeling super good about things at that time,
I had a good season in 2014 with Bows, and when I heard he got the job, he was straight on to me asking how I'd feel about going up Sligo, and I just remember being absolutely buzzing, like, because Sligo is a massive club. That's when Bows were in hard times, like, financially, you know. I think I quadrupled my wages going to Sligo, you know. And
did you actually move, or
moved up there full time. So and that was another tricky part. I had just got with my missus, who I'm with years now, obviously, but I was only with her maybe 5-6 months. And I remember saying to her, look, I'm only going to sign if you're going to come with me. And so it was a big commitment from her as well, taking the risk to move across the country.
And Sligo,
she did.
Sligo wouldn't be the most glamorous of names. I'm sure
we weren't even in we were in a little ghost town about 10 minutes away.
It's a lovely town. I have to defend
no, it
is.
Sligo's lovely.
It's a really nice town. I've been there a few times.
We were in a place about 10 minutes towards Dublin, and it was absolutely, like I said, a ghost town.
And
now, all the players were there in the same kind of estate. But no, they put me and the missus up in a lovely apartment, and it was all paid for, so it was great.
Was it a 9-month contract again, or was it a 12-month, or how can you remember?
That was a 9-month. I might have started getting paid from the December, which is quite rare as well. So before pre-season, basically as soon as I signed, I started getting paid, which is another incentive for a player to sign, you know. But I was happy to go there, because I'd worked with Owen Heary and the year before, and like I said, full-time football. Sligo's a football mad town.
Yeah,
the fans
it is.
are very passionate.
Every shop has the jerseys up for sale.
Exactly.
And stuff.
So
you can see it straight away.
At the same time, I was looking forward to living on my own. Well, with the missus, you know, being a bit independent.
It's a big step because she's from Dublin, is she? Yeah.
She is. She was working full time, so she had to leave her job.
Like that's what I'm making the joke about, like having to go to move to the other side of Ireland to Sligo, and she'd maybe ever been there before. It was a hard sell at the start.
It's not an easy question to ask her, but fair play to her, she did, and she was kind of hovering in and out of jobs up there, and it's tough for her. Now she went home maybe 6 weeks before the season finished. I think she'd had enough.
Okay, fair enough.
No, fair play to her. She moved up with me and made it easier for me as well. And good year, like I said, you had to living on my own, cooking for myself and all that stuff. You know, it was a good learning curve. But
hadn't got mommy to look after you.
I didn't.
Done away home dinners around there.
Yeah. But it was a bit of a mixed year because on the pitch we didn't really do well. Now,
you finished top scorer that year.
I had a good year personally. I've done okay. Now it was the funny story with the guy actually that year. Now we 2 English managers and we got to a championship final now, and the manager was asking would I play. It was on a Saturday. We played.
This is the Pat's manager wanted you to
Pat's
play.
Manager, it was the intermediate championship final, and we played. I think it was Longford on the Friday in Sligo, and this match was on the Saturday. So I said I'd come home and play. So I went home and togged out and came on. I think at half time.
Was this your first appearance in a long time?
I think it had been. I think it was the first appearance since I moved to Sligo. Anyway, I hadn't played for a good few months, and I think now, I can't remember. But I played the match, and again, looking back now, was stupid. On the other team was the secretary of the PFAI. He played for the other team, so it was always going to get out.
Yeah.
So I went back up to Sligo then on the Monday or whatever it was, and the manager, Gail Curly Finger, come here, and I was acting dumb. I was like, oh, and he showed me a picture in the paper. He's like, what's this? And he's like, that's the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. And I was like, I'd no excuse. I couldn't.
You're caught. Like,
luckily,
you can't say anything.
They didn't find me now, but they dropped me the next day or the next week, and got a bit of stick off the lads for that. But
did you win the match?
We got beaten in the match. But I actually the match I got dropped for was actually a big match. We were playing Pats we were hovering around relegation.
Yeah,
and I was dropped. So I was warming up in front of the Sligo fans. They're like, kick it over the bar. Give me stick. I actually came on and scored 2 goals to keep us up that season. Yeah. So I was okay with them after.
That gets you away with it.
It did, but that's one of the funny gaps.
So you left Sligo on decent terms, so just about.
I did, yeah, just about. For some fans it was okay, for others it wasn't.
Story of your life, goals getting you out of trouble, yeah. So then it was back to Bows then after that, yeah?
I went to Pats for a year.
Pats after
Pats
that.
That was it was a year I'd like to forget now. That was a disastrous year.
Not playing much,
just
not playing well,
much,
or injuries, what was it?
No interaction with the manager. I remember training well. Like, I'd be the first to admit if I wasn't deserving to play, but that year was just strange. There was no interaction with the manager. He wouldn't play me. I remember feeling very down, actually. It was a tough year off the pitch as well now, because every footballer just wants to be playing, you know. And like I said, I'll sit on the bench if it's deserved. But
was that your first time in your career where you weren't really playing regularly?
Kind of, yeah. If it wasn't through injury, like, yeah, it was. And I remember even considering retirement that year. I was that down about it. So, yeah, I did. It would have been 27, and just out of anger really. But bad year now on the pitch. But obviously my first child was born that year after the season. So but that
changes your perspective.
Exactly. But luckily the Bows manager took a chance on me, and I repaid him well over the next few years. Yeah.
So like that's a big kind of point there, like, because you're like, as you said, you're frustrated, you're not playing games. You're obviously then the 9 months is over. You're searching for a new club. you now have a son.
Yeah.
So it's not just about you and your football career anymore.
Exactly.
There's a whole other layer to what's going on. Like, so can you remember then, like, did you have a big decision to make whether, like, because 27, you're literally in your prime football years. Like, there's a few things going on here. Can you remember thinking, like, no, I need to not, this is too, as a career, this is too insecure. I need to go and get a real job in inverted commas. Or, like, what can you remember where your head was at back then?
Yeah, it was definitely, I remember it was definitely around then. It was crossing my mind. I was thinking, right, maybe college or get a job, something, you know, like football's not the be all end all, you know. But I think then soon enough after, the Bows manager got in touch and he was happy to take me and he offered me a decent enough contract. So when that happens, you're kind of like, I'm safe for another year, you know. And the baby was only young at the time. Money wasn't a major factor back then. The missus was working full time as well. And I remember just thinking that I'll keep playing then. And I had another good year that year. And after that, I signed a 2-year contract. So that was bit more security. And, you know.
So that was the biggest contract you would have got since your Sporting Fingal, which was probably 10 years earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I got a good contract then and 2 good years. And then.
So every year we're talking about there, like those Christmases, are you on the dole waiting to try and get a club, or did you get any part-time jobs? Did you do anything to kind of keep you ticking over?
I think only 1 year I got a part-time job now up in Dunn stores, just stacking shelves, just to pay the bills, you know.
So that was can you remember when you were playing at the time? Was that when you were at Bows? Because that's a big thing as well. I'm sure that's hard to get your head around, where you're star man, like they said, 5,000 people cheering your name, and then you're in the local supermarket stacking shelves.
I suppose I just got used to it. It's just so crazy that the insecurity you have as a footballer in the league, you know.
There's someone I'm just so keen to talk to you about, because they said there's a lot of people who will be football fans listening to this that just will be oblivious to the actual lifestyle and the commitment that's required to kind of do what you've done over the years. Like, it's an amazing career when you look back over it. But I said, like, it's not like your standard.
No, it's not all pretty.
3 and 4 year contracts, professional.
Like, it is getting more that way these days. But like I said, the Rovers, the Dundalks, even Bows, Derry.
There's a new thing only came out seen recently. There's a new minimum wage coming out,
which is brilliant as well.
You timed that well. As soon as you retired, it came out.
What I do to be 5 years younger, honestly, geez, I'd have made a lot more money. But
it needs to be, like, talking to you there. Like, it's
great for the league. It's great.
Needs it, you know?
I think it's if you're over, is it 21 maybe or something, you're guaranteed, I think, €430 a week. To be a professional.
Again, not mega bucks, but it allows you
enough to get your boy
exactly
to focus on it, improve, and hopefully get a better contract. Yeah, that's a great thing for the league now this year. But no, there was nothing like that when I was on £100 a week, £50 a week at some of them clubs. Terrible. So
like it's mad, because again, like for like a lad that grew up with you and seeing your career and stuff, we're like, oh, Dinny has it made. You know, he's out of all of us that sat around talking at the table in the canteen saying we were going to be footballers and we're older, you're the one who went and did it, you know?
But from probably 18 till 24, 25, I was on very average money. And
I suppose, because I know you've a good network of friends that you've been close with growing up in Donaghbay. Like, you're probably seeing those lads, they've gone probably on off to college, they've got degrees, they're getting jobs and their careers progressing. Like, is that in your head as well? Because
to be honest, it wasn't at the time. I was just all football, just focused on football. I'd nothing else. I had no interest in anything else. And I just, now, like I said, luckily I kept getting contract year after year. The money wasn't great sometimes, but once I was playing football, I was happy.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, when I hit maybe 25, 26-ish, I started getting good contracts, which again, I wasn't interested in going to college.
That 2-year contract, that would have paid you through the Christmas, would it? Like,
that would have been, and they gave me a Jeep as well, a brand new Jeep at the time, and it was great. Now
so you were rolling around Donaghbay.
That's it, man. The Bows press. It was a great time. Jeez, I took it for granted because, but
that was big, I'd imagine. Like, because again, like, Bows obviously a huge club, but they never would be one of the biggest budgets in the league. So you were probably one of the main men. Like, every player had that.
No, like, I think I was the highest paid or joint highest paid at the time. That's what happens when you score goals.
Score goals and play well.
That's it. But then, like I said, which you're probably going to touch on now, 2019, some things can happen. An injury, it just takes an injury for another.
Well, there was something else that happened in 2019 I was going to mention first. You made an surprise appearance on telly. Remember, literally being in the WhatsApp group one day with the lads and going, "Lads, Dinny's on Countdown."
Yeah,
like, what?
Yeah. Was that 2019?
That's what I think so. Yeah. So how did that come about?
That. Yeah, that's a strange one. It was actually through my mum. My mum is a big Countdown fan even to this day.
Yeah.
I'd come home from school and it'd be on the telly side, throw my school bag down, sit down on the couch, I'd watch it with her, and I was good at it. She went and applied for me.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, "Oh, you're gonna get a phone call tomorrow. You're gonna apply to me on Countdown." So I was like, "She's okay, yeah, fair enough."
This is your mum just told you, yeah?
Just randomly. So I took the phone call, and they give you the test over the phone. Like, you could
Make sure you're not a gobshite.
You could easily be cheating though. I could have had a laptop beside me,
Yeah.
but no. And then I'd done a few rounds. You do a few rounds over the phone. And then at the end of the phone call, your man just goes to me, "Right, you're going to be on the show." And I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
So I just
did you have to get permission to travel or anything like
it
that?
It was actually on the off season, thankfully enough.
Right.
So it was in November, I think. So I went. They put you up in the hotel for 2 or 3 nights. Great. Now I enjoy it. And
that sounds amazing. Yeah,
it was more from my mom. Like, my mom's such a big fan.
Yeah. I'd say she was very. I'm sure she was proud of you anyway. But to see that,
unfortunately, I got beaten on the first goal.
I had a little look. What was the score? Actually, 97-50.
Yeah,
some woman in her 60s, I think.
Now look, she was very good. Now I think she got to the final that year, but I underperformed. I was very nervous at the start.
I can only imagine like being in a TV studio and all the lights and everything.
It took me a few rounds to like kind of like, "Jeez, this is mad." Like, but,
it's actually happening.
It's something I want to do again. I want to go back. It's on me.
Are you allowed to go back again, or is there rules?
They said it's a 10-year wait.
Okay,
it's
right.
been what's it now, 4 or something? But
did you get the teapot and all?
No, you need to get a win. So,
is that how it works?
I got like a dictionary and a few pens and a cup. But I want to get the teapot for the mother, so that's why I'm going to go back for the win. But yeah, that was actually... It's funny.
All the medals you have on the wall be taken aside, the Countdown teapot you put there.
I remember getting, my phone erupted that day as well, because I hadn't told many people.
How long was the gap between doing it and it going out on air? Like,
it went on air, it's either February or March. It was just the start of the season, and I'd scored 3 in their first 3 games. I got Player of the Month. And
your player month on this when it was aired,
and I think it could have been the exact same day or maybe the day after when that was aired. So my phone was extra hopping. It was crazy. And I remember getting phone calls off all radio shows. Were like, "Don't mind the Player of the Month. What was Countdown like?"
In a way, it nearly took away from all your good stuff.
Yeah, but good experience, and
that's class. Well, I think it's cool because it dispels the myth. Anyone who's not into football thinks every footballer is thick as a plank of wood. So again, you have to have something about you to go on Countdown. So
it was enjoyable. Yeah,
that was cool. Did you get much stick off like playing in front of fans and stuff? Was there anything like you were at Bowes at the time? Were you?
I was at Bowes, yeah.
Like home fans or away fans, was it ever mentioned?
Not really, not that I remember. I rember a few players. I remember Jack Byrne in particular. We were in the tunnel about to go out for a Dublin Derby. Like, "You were on Countdown. What were you doing on Countdown?" And stuff like that. Like, but no, I never got stick off. I wouldn't mind if people give me stick off. It's a bit of a laugh. I don't mind, but. Yeah, it's crazy.
So that was obviously a big high on Countdown. Phone was hopping. Your Player of the Month, so you're banging in a few goals. And then was it May? Then big injury happened.
May, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was very bad timing. Now, it started the season well enough. I think I was just gone 30, so in my prime, I'd like to think, playing my best football. And yeah, we were playing Sligo at home, and I just remember there was someone running down the wing about to cross it, and obviously I had my eyes on the ball, but whatever happened, I ran into one of my own players, and whatever way my leg went, it just cracked. I heard the crack, and I just knew it was something bad, and it turned out broken leg. I think it was my leg. I'm still not sure if it was my leg or my foot, but something was broken, and very big setback, like, especially it was just the time, and I was going so well, and I knew it was going to be a long injury, so I was worried, would I even come back at all from it?
What does the rehab look like there? Because obviously you're contracted with a club. Do they take care of all that, or does that expire when your contract expires, or how does that
well,
work?
Fortunately enough, it was within the rest of the season I had recovered. I can't remember the time frame. I think it was maybe 3 months or so. I was back jogging and stuff, so the season was still on. But I was on the bench for the last game of the season, so luckily enough I didn't have to face what would happen if it was the off season, whether they would have looked after me or not, I'm not sure. But and in fairness to him, he gave me another year's contract after that. But that was a very tough time. I remember because
were you going to games, watching them? Like,
yeah, I was kind of trying to stay involved because I was hoping to be back for the end of the season. I was in a boot for 6 weeks, which was horrific now.
And what age is your son at this stage?
That's what I was going to say. He was just 2.5, so I couldn't play with him, couldn't drive. I had to sleep with that boot on. It was very mentally challenging for 6 weeks while I had that boot on. And then I remember I was able to get back jogging pretty quick. Like, luckily enough for me, it was a clean break now. I didn't need surgery or an operation, thank God. and I healed up reasonably quick. And once I could get back jogging, I was just so relieved and so happy. And I remember that. But the first 6 weeks was very challenging, yeah, especially with the young kid as well. So yeah, and then even since that, I really never captured the form again, unfortunately. So that was a big.
What age were you when you got back? You were 31.
That would have been 31 the next season, yeah, and which was it was 2021 as well, or 2020, which was the COVID year. So I think we only played 16 or 18 league.
A bit of time there, yeah,
massively, yeah, and after that he didn't give me another contract.
What was that like? Because obviously you were allowed going, like the season was allowed to resume when a lot of other things were still in lockdown. Like, was that a bit? It was strange, like
I think.
Because at that stage we didn't know much about it, and everyone was like absolutely terrified.
I think at the start the season was it stopped for a few weeks anyway, and then I can't remember how long it was stopped for. But we got sent all individual programs. We got the GPSs to make sure we were keeping fit, and I remember just going down the park every day on my own doing the sessions.
In fairness, like you're living in a good spot there. Like your 5K in Donaghbate, you've got the beach, you've got Newbridge, you've loads of nice things around you. Like it's a good place to be for a 5K.
I went up to Newbridge every day and done all the training and kept fit. And then we got back to small group training. I think it was we'd go up to is it Father Collins Park there in Trinity?
Donaghmede,
Donaghmede. I think there was 4 or 5 of us there training.
I'd say that was a logistical nightmare, even like for like the club secretary, like if you're trying to organise training, you're booking.
That's what I mean. There was 4 lads at that park, then there's 4 lads over in Bushy Park over the south. It was crazy, but it was the only way we could stay fit. Like so, you had to work with what you were given. We done loads of Zoom workouts as well, obviously, and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had a lot of them in the gym over the years.
They were tough mentally as well, you know, but has to be done.
Yeah,
and
no other option.
No, well, that's it. Yeah, and then I think we only ended up playing 16 or 18 league games. I can't remember. I didn't play much that year. And that was it then.
What did you notice? Like, did you find when you came back, did you feel you lost a bit of pace, sharpness of movement? Was there anything you felt different?
Not even. I felt good coming back from injury. Unfortunately for me, the other striker who had been playing in my absence was doing well. Now he started scoring goals, so he kept his place in the team, deservedly so. It was just tough because I wasn't playing, and like I'd missed the whole previous season through the injury, and then that season missed most of it as well. So it was tough mentally. Like, but physically I felt grand. I still felt I had a lot in me, and I was excited to sign for Drogheda. Then the following year, the Bows, it was tough to leave Bows. Now I had a great relationship with the club there. The manager, in fairness to me, he called me, and
that was Keith Long, was it?
Yeah, he met me in actually Malahide, and he just said, "Look, I'm sorry, but you're not in the plans going forward." Yeah. I said, "Look, no problem. Like, I can understand."
He's done, like, from my limited knowledge, he done an unreal job there over the years. Like, for the budget Bows had, they always were one. And they seem to have this tradition of bringing in the young lads from all different clubs and doing so well with them.
And I think the coach Trevor Crawley deserves a massive amount of credit as well. He's brilliant. But Keith was working on a very limited budget, and every year, because the budget was limited, the other teams would take the best players off us, so they'd lose the backbone of the team every year. And his job recruiting,
because they were always top 4, top 5, weren't they? Like, whereas the teams ahead of them would always
overachieving every year. And then unfortunately his time ran up on him there. Was it last year? And he got the bullet, unfortunately. But he done a phenomenal job there. And my most enjoyable time of my career was playing under him as well.
Well, that's a classy touch as well, like to meet you personally and tell you. I'm sure that doesn't happen with every player.
He said the club had told him to do that as well. He said, make sure you do it right now with Dinny, because
you're a good servant.
I was a good servant, and I had a good relationship with them all. He was almost apologetic in saying it to me, that he was letting me go, you know.
I'm sure it's cutthroat, it's elite sport, you know. You have to do what's best for the club.
I didn't want to make it any harder for him. I said, I understand completely. Look, I just want to play football, so best of luck, whatever. Go our separate ways. And
how did the Drogheda move come about then? Did you know the manager up there? Obviously, you'd been up there before.
Yeah, no, I'd actually played with their manager up at Sligo that year in Sligo. So, he gave me a call and told me his plans, what he wanted to do with me. It sounded exciting. And like I said, after the previous 2 years being nightmares, I just wanted to get back playing football. And I was happy to sign with Drogheda. Now, didn't go as well as I'd planned, but just happy to be fit again and playing, And
then you'd one more year in you then after that. So there was one part of the country you hadn't been to yet.
Well, exactly.
The sunny southeast down to Wexford.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
Similar enough, I'd played with that manager at Shells.
This is Lorcan, is it?
No, Ian Ryan.
Okay.
Lorcan was the coach now. I played with him obviously a few years. Ian Ryan played with him at Shells, and I was kind of him and Han whether to go another year or not. And I said, look, I might as well while I can, you know.
Yeah.
And it was Wexford again. Logistically, was a nightmare. I mean, they
Because you've had a second child born at this stage, yeah.
the second child born,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So very tough on the missus again, you
Yeah.
know.
How did that work? Like, were you commuting up and down,
So-
or were you spending a few nights down in Wexford?
No,
'Cause
just
obviously
commuting. I work Monday to Friday in an office, so every Monday and Wednesday I'd go straight from work to Carlow. We trained in Carlow, and then home obviously. So I'd be gone from 7:30 in the morning. I don't go home till 8:30 at night, you know, on the Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday if we have a home match, I'd drive to Wexford and back. So it was tough now.
Why were a lot of the players based in Dublin? Is that why they trained in
A lot
Carlow?
of them were based in Dublin, yeah.
'Cause you just assume it was trainings in the Wexford grounds.
Yeah,
or whatever,
no, we trained in Carlow, which wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
No, but
And you say that you were working full time at this stage.
working
So
full time, yeah.
when did that come up? Was that when you got injured? That came about.
Yeah, it was actually. Oh, excuse me. Soon after I broke my leg, it was actually a person within Bowes on the board said there was a job going in his place, and like I had no previous experience, no college, nothing, and so I said, yeah, I'll give it a bash, and I'm still there to this day now. And it's they're very good for accommodating the football, you know.
Yeah.
Any away trips, there was no problem getting the time off work.
Yeah.
They're all kind of
You
League of
need
Ireland
that,
fans
like,
in
yeah.
there. Yeah, it's
'Cause
massive.
I'd say, like, I'd imagine going to get a job and you're like, I need a half day on a Friday
Yeah,
every week.
yeah,
like I
exactly.
say, that's a bit of a deal
Exactly,
breaker for a
yeah.
lot of people. Like,
It's
you know,
not ideal, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Wexford it was enjoyable in the end. There was times I was kind of questioning, geez, will I pack it in now? Like I had a few tough moments mentally there last year, but
Was that based on performance?
just
Or
based on performance and all the travelling and
Yeah.
the missus as well. She had a lot going on at home with the two kids and stuff, and I wasn't playing as much as I'd liked. I kind of, in my head, I still felt like I was 29, 30, but realistically I was 33. Probably had lost a yard of pace, a yard of sharpness, which stood to me against the young fellas. And yeah, I was kind of in and out a lot last year. And if I'm being honest, I was just looking forward to the end of the season.
it's a lot of effort if you're not really enjoying
Exactly,
it.
exactly.
Which is
Yeah,
fair
with all
enough,
the travelling and you're tired, and you know.
And just to add to the mix, then you decide to go and have a third child. Then
Yeah,
on top
sure,
of
sure.
that,
Why not? Yeah. Yeah, no. That's
So you're officially retired. What, about 2 months now? Is there even?
probably not even, no. Probably just about a month, I'd say. Yeah.
So you're right in the thick. What age is your son now?
He's only 2 months. and
So you have a boy who's 6, girl. Zoe,
she's 2 in March. So
Yeah.
almost 2, and then 2 months now.
Yeah, so that's there's no fear you're not being busy anyway. Like, with
well,
that
exactly.
going on,
Yeah, it was that kind of made my decision to retire. a
Yeah,
bit
so I'd say
easier.
if you get a call over the Christmas for one more year, that'll be a hard discussion.
No,
with
no,
the missus,
geez,
isn't it?
absolutely no. In fairness to her, she's sacrificed a lot over the years for me, and
Yeah.
I can tell when I talk to her, she's dying for me to knock it on the head.
No,
and
that's fair enough. It's
And it made sense, yeah. I just said, and especially from Wexford, say, draw had my last year at Bowes, my injury at Bowes, I hadn't really got a good run of games. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I should. The fire kind of went out, you know, inside of me.
Would it affect you at home? Like, say you go home after a bad, like, would it
would.
be if you play a bad game on a Friday?
Absolutely.
Like, at home the weekend.
That
is
was
in your
another
head,
thing. It
yeah.
would massively affect me. I used to carry it for the whole weekend. If
Yeah.
I missed a chance or we lost, I'd be probably angry for the whole weekend, and that's not fair as well. And I just had to kind of take a step back. And obviously, when the kids come along, they're obviously your priority. You kind of learn to put football to the side. If you do have a bad game, just forget about it. And as I got older, I realised that, you know. But back in the day, I'd beat myself up for the whole weekend. And
Yeah.
again, it's not fair on people around me. So I don't think people understand how much other halves sacrifice and take the brunt of
Good
stuff,
point,
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was delighted now when I knocked it on the head and joined the local team there
That's
last
good.
week.
So you've signed up with St. Edith's, yeah?
Signed up with St. Edith's, yeah.
So there's a few lads who play in the what league is in?
I think it's the AUL Saturday Premier.
I'm telling you, there's gonna be a few boys knocking around there.
Yeah.
You're going, Mark Dinny Corcoran
Yeah,
today.
maybe
Yeah,
so.
he could be a marked man down there.
It's funny. I was in work today and I had to make a phone call to pay for my AA membership or something like that. I had to explain my email address. Dinny Corcoran. You did Dinny Corcoran to play for Bowes? He's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I heard you sign for St. Edith's there last week. I play for Grange Woodbine. And
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
To be
But,
taking pictures with you after the match, like Messi.
Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Like,
Well, it's just to go back, play with
Sorry,
some
yeah.
mates and some friends. Is
exactly.
that the goal?
My brother's on the team, a few mates. It's 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
It's not a high pressure. If I have to miss training, I can miss train. There's nothing said, no questions asked. Yeah, just to enjoy it again.
And if St. Pat's been on to you as well, are they looking for you?
Well, cheekily enough, I actually played a game there last year when I probably shouldn't, and No, they haven't been
Didn't
on.
learn from your bollocking and Sligo
No,
yet,
no. Just at that stage, I didn't care if I was caught, But no, they haven't been on to me now yet. I'm sure that might come in the new year. But I've already told them that the soccer is going to come first again. So
what was it? Do you just prefer soccer as a sport? Like, because you're very talented at both. Like,
yeah, I've just always preferred soccer. I think like when I was playing GAA regularly, I enjoyed it. It was with a lot of my pals, like you'd know Charlo, and good pals, and my brother was the captain of the team, and we went on a great run for a few years. We went up from Division 5 to Division 1 and really
huge,
enjoyable. But I never enjoyed the GAA training. I never would have quit soccer to play GAA, you know, that way. Like, if I wanted to be, I would have had to spend at least 6 months in the gym if I wanted to be a serious GAA player. What was I going to say? Yeah, there was a call. I got a call from the Dublin team actually at one stage as well to go up and play an O'Byrne Cup match with them, but I turned that down straight away as well. And it was just a random call around Christmas. I hadn't been training for weeks. Yeah.
What year was that roughly?
I don't know what year. I remember it was Pat Gilroy was in charge.
So Pat rang you, did he?
No, he didn't ring me directly. He rang the St. Pat's manager. And the
Yeah.
St. Pat's manager rang me and he said, Pat wants to know if you'd be interested in going up. And I just said no. It wouldn't have done me any
Can
favours.
you remember where you were playing? What club you were with at the time?
I can't remember, to be honest. No, I'm not sure. But no, I didn't really have any interest in that.
Was that ever in your head? Because obviously you see the success that those have had over the last few years since Pat's been there, and Jim Gavin.
Absolutely no regrets. I never would have gave up soccer to play GAA. No chance.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Okay,
and that's it.
cool.
GAA was just a kind of social thing with my brothers, my mates.
Yeah.
And,
the thing I find is, I've tried to explain this to people in the past, like, I much prefer the game of, I call it football, but that producer Dangus out to me, he said it's soccer.
Yeah.
So I much prefer the game of football, but I love everything else about the GAA, the culture, that, like, growing up, like, you're playing with, like, if you went back and played a game with Pats, there's probably lads there you've played with since
100%,
you're kids, like, you know, it's such a good culture.
That's
lads
why
playing together, it's amazing. Like, it's really special.
In that sense, it's so different to soccer. Soccer is you've a dressing room full of lads from different areas, which is brilliant.
It's cool as well.
Yeah. But GAA is such a parish thing, and I mean, if you win something, the lads who go on a 4-day bender, it's crazy. But it's some great days playing GAA, yeah. But no, soccer was always. I actually find it easier playing GAA. I think GAA is easier, but soccer is much more.
Well, if I ping a ball up,
everyone's different.
If I ping a ball up to you and you have a choice of catching it or controlling it on your chest,
you're running with it in your arms. I think, yeah. But yeah, soccer's always number one.
Nah, cool, man. I think it's fair to say, like, and like I said, like, it's. You look at your career, I said that was the thing that struck me. I was just going over some notes there the last couple of days before sitting down with you, and I was like, God, he's had some career, like, and as you said, like, it's not without its highs and its lows and its challenges, you know. And you're, like, while you had a bad injury, I suppose, like, it could have been taken away from you so easy, you know. Like,
that's why. I do feel very fortunate.
The word I would use, it's so insecure. Is the word to probably describe it.
That's probably a thing a lot of outsiders or maybe fans wouldn't understand. It's a cutthroat business. Like I said, you could get a bad injury and then you're not going to get a contract for next year.
For a simple thing, imagine trying to go for a mortgage and you're saying, I'm on a 9-month contract and it's this and I'm not allowed to do this, that or the other. They're like,
they laugh at you. Exactly. So in that sense, it is tough. But luckily I've had a decent enough career.
And just something you mentioned earlier, like, obviously you got the job then when you got the injury. In a way, is that a bit of a blessing in disguise? Like, I'd imagine it'd be quite tough now. Like, if you hadn't got that and you were going into retirement, that'd be a little bit more daunting. Like,
definitely, I still thank your man to this day for giving me that job, because I don't know if I would have even went looking for a job. I was just so down, and it was him that got onto me. And very fortunate that I got into it, and it's a grand job. It's like I said, they were very accommodating with the football. Good people in there, so very fortunate.
You still get your half days on a Friday now you're retired, no?
Well,
we haven't discussed that.
The away matches aren't as far away anymore, so I don't think I'll need the time.
To be in Swords this evening, gonna get up 4 hours early. No, Dinny, sorry.
Exactly, yeah. That's it.
No, look, man, this has been fantastic. It's been great to catch up, because I said it's been a while since we've even, like, I said it's scary. Like I said, it just points out how old we're all after getting now. I said we like to think that we're still young lads. But no, I really appreciate your time, Dinny. But before I let you go, I'm conscious there's a lot of football fans probably listening to this who'd love to know a few little insider bits and pieces. So we're going to do a little bit of a quick fire, right? So we were trying to work it out. So we reckon there was 7 teams you played with at senior level.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
7 clubs, yeah.
You're 100% on that,
I
yeah.
thi- no, I'm not.
I'm putting you on
I
the
think
spot
it's
now.
7, but
Big time. Now, we're talking here, producer Dan is here, and I told Dan he could ask one question as well. So, Dan, do you have an input on any question you'd like to be asked?
You actually already answered my question. I was going to ask about the difference in culture between the soccer and the GA. We've 2 fucking soccer heads sitting in there, so I was only going to get one answer.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's like I said, that's soccer is just people from everywhere, and it's a weird dynamic, the soccer dressing rooms. I mean, it's even different than if you're going out with them. It's different than going out with your own mates. Like, it's just everyone's just so different, and yeah, GA is just your mates you see every day, like, or you'd see every weekend. So yeah, like you said, I kind of already did answer that. The GA is just more of a parish thing, and soccer's kind of.
What was the scrutiny
walks
like?
of
So I
life.
should ask you this before we get into the quick fire. Like, what was the scrutiny like? You know, like there'd be the League of Ireland show on the Monday nights and watching the highlights and stuff, and there's the pundits are there giving their expert opinion. Like would you have tuned in to watch that? Would you read the papers? Like, there was
Yeah.
extratime.ie is obviously a website that's dedicated to it as well. Would you watch that sort of stuff, or did you try and stay away from it? Or depend how you were playing at the time.
Yeah. No, I'd look at all that stuff, and especially the social media these days. There's no avoiding it. So you're always gonna get a bit of stick when it's deserved, and I'd
Like,
never.
would you have got much, like you see, like on the extreme side of things, like the English footballers over the last few years, like some of the hateful messages that come in.
Yeah.
Would you have got much of that, like in the League of Ireland?
I don't recall getting anything too serious.
Yeah.
Now you'd obviously get a few Shamrock Rovers fans or whatever, slating me on Instagram or something. But
That's a sign you're doing your job for both.
exactly,
though,
yeah.
you know,
Look, no, I never got anything too bad, thankfully. And if there was any bad comments, I just laughed them off.
yeah,
It's-
fair enough. Water off a duck's back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like 80% of the fans are absolute. They haven't a clue. So yeah, I wouldn't take it too seriously.
Nah, that's fair enough. Well, listen, as I said before I let you go, I have to go through a couple of these because I'm kind of interested myself. So, like you mentioned there, like about the dynamic of the dressing room and all these different people that you meet. Is there one player over your career that stood out to you as being like the most talented player that someone just made you go, wow, this fella is unreal? I'm sure there's more than one, but like
there's
one in particular.
2 spring to mind. One you'd probably know. I've already mentioned Shawnee Williams from Fatherhood. Yeah, so
Dad went on to have a great
so
career,
when I was at Sporting Fingal, I was I think 18 or 19. He was probably 23. And I just remember going onto the training ground the first few weeks and just thinking basically, wow, like he was always a level above even the good players in that dressing room. He was a level above, and like you said, he's gone on to have a great career.
Actually, he's a fellow Seabury man. I've seen him play I've gone on to Millwall games a couple of times. I've seen him play. Like he's had a good career.
Even at that level, like he was highly.
I think he was the captain there for a couple of years. Like
I think he was, and he was at MK Dons for a while, highly regarded there as well. So he's had a great career. And then the other one was a bit more recent. And again, people probably know him, Jamie McGrath from my year at Pats.
Yeah.
He would have been only probably 18 and I was maybe 23 at the time. And again, just thinking, geez, this kid is special. Like he was control of a ball, and he was one step ahead upstairs.
Is it the first touch that?
First touch, for me, I think the first touch is the main difference,
Yeah.
and his was just outrageous. You could just lash a ball at him, he'll just kill it. And I remember just thinking, he's going to have a good career as well, and he's on the way to it now.
Any lads say in your earlier years playing with the Irish internationals at say 16s and 18s and stuff, did any of them guys go on to do anything over in the league?
Not really, to be honest. No. The likes of Lorcan Fitzgerald and Christy Fagan, they would have been the kind of biggest names growing up, and whatever through injuries and stuff, it just hasn't worked out for them. And no, I don't think anyone really from the Irish teams have gone on to have a great career, unfortunately, no.
Well, we say great career, but like over in England, that was kind of that was it's probably
I'm sure
changed
there's
a bit
few
now.
slip in my mind here that I can't think of, but no one springs to mind. Really. No.
Who would have been the toughest opponent then you would have come up across? I'm sure you had a few solid centre halves over the years.
Yeah, again, probably 2 spring to mind, and this one, I don't know. Unfortunately, one that passed away a few years ago, Ryan McBride from Derry.
Yeah.
He was very tough now. He'd remind you of playing a game match. You'd be battered and bruised the next day. Very good players. So sad what happened to him.
He was what age was he passed? It was just
25 maybe.
Sudden adult death syndrome, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just terrible. He was the captain of Derry.
The stadium's named after him. Yeah,
big personality up there he was. And it's terrible, but what a player he was. You'd always know you were in a battle against him. And similar again, Kenny Brown, I don't know if you heard him, he was at Pats, Waterford. Another big physical lad, and he could move as well, but they're the two that would you'd be waking up with a few bumps and bruises, batter you up and down the pitch. Yeah, them 2 spring to mind.
And then where would have been your favourite place to play? What's your favourite ground?
Well, I suppose daily amount when it was home, you know, just solely because I played my best football there, and the fans talked to me, but as well as that, the atmosphere there was brilliant when times were good. Now, if I can't pick that, if I had to pick another ground,
say an away ground, do you just like going to? Is there like a particular town that had a good buzz around it? I'm sure there's more than one.
Cork is always good. Yeah. Cork, Turner's Cross. I think it's one of the only stadiums in the country that has the four sides with
but
a stand.
They even they were obviously Division 1 this year. They were still getting full houses and stuff.
Yeah.
Great following.
Obviously a massive following down there. Always a good atmosphere, and you always get a good bit of stick down there as well. Yeah. I'd probably pick Turner's Cross. Tal as well, Shamrock Rovers ground, just for the pitch alone. It's always
top class,
it's immaculate.
It's like it's a league above.
Absolutely.
League,
so they're the ones that spring to mind now. Yeah, I have to say.
Who would be your favourite team to beat? I think I know the answer to this as a Bows man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Shamrock Rovers, and I mean the early part of my career, we had very little joy against them. They're always strong, you know. But I think between then maybe 2017 to 2020, we went 8 or 9 unbeaten against them. Great run against them.
There's one game I always remember you were playing and you scored a penalty to win 1-0.
Yeah.
And the fans were like shining lasers in
That's
your
right, yeah. All the Rovers fans were behind, the keeper. And I just remember seeing the laser and I was going, what's going on? Luckily I scored and I got away with it. But those games were always a bit extra special, you know. There was always a bit of extra bite in training leading up to them games, and obviously social media, the fans would be living for them games.
Was that your favourite game to play in?
Probably not, because they were so nerve-wracking, you know. There was an extra bit of tension in them ones. Obviously after, if you'd won, they were definitely the best, you know, but pre-game the nerves were a bit more than usual, and you just wanted kind of to be over. They were never really great games to play in. They were always kind of scrappy with both teams afraid to lose.
Games,
exactly.
But like you would have had a lot, like it did have, like, because there's so many Dublin derbies in the league, but that would be the one that had the edge. Like it was deservedly 100%. Called the Dublin derby.
100%. Yeah, it's the biggest rivalry in the country, and like I said, the fans live for them ones. If you like, I was lucky enough to score a few winners against them, and you just go back on your social media is hopping that night. Like you're an absolute hero if you scored a win against Rovers. Like against another team, and be well done. But if it's Rovers, it's just next level. Like
All right. So next question, I was trying to think of a creative way to ask this. So say it's Christmas time and one of your friends goes, listen, I want to get your son a League of Ireland jersey. What one should I get him? What are you saying there?
Again, you know the answer. Bows, you know. I got him a Bows kit when he was younger.
Right.
Luckily he's football mad now. He loves football.
They are technically our local club as well, so there's something to be said for that. They're the official Northside team.
They're really more Shells. Shells would argue that probably. But again, that's another good thing about being retired now. I'm going to try and get him to a few games, and I'm going to try to bring him to different stadiums, you know, let him choose who he wants. But that's great. Now he like I said, he's football mad. He'll wear any football kit at the moment. It was his birthday last week. I think he got 5 new kits. Like,
did you stick a Chelsea jersey on him as well?
His uncle, my brother got him a Chelsea kit.
Are all your brothers Chelsea fans?
No, he's Liverpool. There's Liverpool and Sunderland, Arsenal. Just myself.
I think you were the only Chelsea fan in school, were you?
Ricky would have been.
And that was before they got all Abramovich.
Exactly, just to clarify that.
Just jump onto it then,
But whoever he wants to support, I'm happy to. Now, if it's Chelsea, it'd be great now, because he could go over to the games and stuff, you know. But I wouldn't force him into anything.
Final question, so before I let you go, any player that you would have loved to play with across all leagues, outside league,
in the whole world,
the whole world, yeah. You can give me a League of Ireland player as well if you like.
Well, I'd have to say Messi, of course. Messi's He's just so smart. Again, he's just a level above.
You're Messi versus Ronaldo. You're Messi.
All day. I don't think it's a debate.
I'm saying,
I don't think so. If anyone wants to, I'll debate it. Messi, and then if you're talking more League of Ireland, do you know he plays for Derry now? Patrick McElhenney.
Okay.
He was with Dundalk for a few years. Derry. He's class. Unfortunately now he's had a few injuries over the years. He's struggled to stay fit. He was with Sunderland as a youngster with Roy Keane actually, and he's creative midfielder that can spot a pass. You know, I think I would have loved to play with him. Now unfortunately we never did cross paths. Played against him a few times, of course, but Yeah, I'd pick him now out of the League of Ireland players.
Get a few extra goals a season with him.
Honestly, a genuine. You
Yeah.
think, oh, he's very smart and his passing's ridiculous. So Patrick McAlean, yeah.
Dinny, it's been great to have you in. As I said, like successful football man, family man. It's been fantastic to have you in, buddy, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it massively. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.